Okay guys, let's talk about tow mode and let's talk about transmission shift selector. You can see we got the shift selector right here. I've got it locked in fifth right now. You can notice you can move it around however you want to. If I want to go to fourth, there's fourth. You can shift it like that. When you're towing, you want to use it. I want to use it. I never tow like this in drive and just let the transmission do what it wants to do, because what happens is you're headed up a hill and all of a sudden it decides it needs to shift down to the next gear, maybe 2 gears, maybe 3 gears, who knows, and you're hitting that transmission with all that torque and power, and that's really hard on a transmission. That's as hard as you can get on a transmission, is to shift it under that heavy load. So if you're going to go up a hill, try to anticipate what hill, what the gear you're going to need. Say it's 5th gear, or I always drive in 5th gear anyway, but let's say it's 4th. Well, go ahead and put it in 4th while you're at the bottom of that hill. If you get caught and you're going up a hill, and say you're in 5th gear and you say, oh, it looks like it's fixing to shift on me down to 4th, back off on the throttle and shift it to 4th. Cars will come by you and flip you the bird and you just say, have a good day. But because you'll slow down when you make that shift, but you'll save that transmission too, and I think that's important. Don't use use your exhaust brake all the time, except in icy weather. People don't use it in icy weather because it can lock your rear end up and stuff. But you know, if you're towing a travel trailer, hopefully you're not going camping when it's 19 degrees. But it happens. The tow mode, that was introduced on almost all trucks years ago because they were burning up transmissions from torque converter would unlock and it would stay unlocked. And when you got that transmission slippage, you're going to have heat build up in your transmission, and you don't want that, and it'll build up real quick, especially on an incline. Having the torque converter unlocked is not a problem. It's just when you're empty, it's when you're towing. Also, using tow mode around town and stuff is a waste of, just a total waste of fuel. You're running more RPMs. Your engine is not running more exhaust temperature, despite what a lot of people think. I've done testing on that and I've proven it to myself, charted it out in Excel and stuff. There's links on that. You don't want to run gear down or anything in town. You're not gaining anything. You're just burning more fuel, and you actually could be increasing your emissions, because these engines are going to be running, they've got a closed loop emission system. They're running emissions through the engine regardless of what you're doing. Idling, you are running more. But whether you're doing 30 miles an hour or 100 miles an hour, you're running exhaust gas through the cylinders to keep the exhaust temperature down to reduce the nitrogen oxide. But that's enough on that. So the point is, the EPA doesn't give you a break because you got this heavy load or whatever. That EGR valve is going to work based on whatever pressure it needs to shove that exhaust gas through the engine, and that's what the VGT is all about. The variable geometry turbines. They hold back pressure on the exhaust manifold so that you're always pushing exhaust gas through the engine. People talk about, oh, I can't use the diesel around town because, you know, it's designed to be run on the highway. That's not true. The worst thing you can do to a diesel is run it cold, a lot of idling. But as long as and we're running pretty cold right now, we're under 400. That's not too cold. You can get down into 200s if you sit there and idle. But no, this is pretty much normal, and we're just pawpawing along here because my camera's flopping all over the freaking place and everything. I picked a bad road to do this video on. Use this when you're towing. Use this shift lever. It's great to use it when you're coming down a hill. But don't put it in a gear that's going to over rev your engine. I don't know if Ram's got a over rev protection on the. I know they have an over rev protection when you're accelerating. I'm not sure about if let's say you're coming down a hill at 60 miles an hour and you throw it in third gear or second gear or something. I don't think that there's probably a protection there. Most trucks have it, but I just don't know because I've never done that. And I don't want to plan on doing it. And I don't want to test it. But you could possibly over rev your engine if you do that. If there's no protection built in. I'd bet there probably is. Somebody might know. But as I say, I'm no authority on this stuff, guys. This is just the way I like to tow. And you may have your own way, and I'm not going to bust your buzz over that. If you got a better way, some people like to put it in sixth and just let the truck run. That's fine. You know, I just don't like all that shifting. I think it's wearing on your transmission more. Other than when you're running around town like we're doing right now. We're on the back roads, but I mean, you don't need to fool with it. Just put it in drive like that and leave it. But experiment with it, especially when you're towing. Use it when you're towing. Definitely use it when you're towing. It's lock it into that gear. And I guess just to sum it up, use your tow haul mode whenever you're towing. Don't use it when you're driving around town because it's doing nothing for you. A lot of people don't like the transmission flare, which is that little lag that you have when you shift gears. And as I mentioned probably already, Chrysler made that change in about 2013. They added more flare to the transmission, which is simply the time that it takes to unlock. Let's say we're going from fourth to fifth. Well, it's going to unlock. Like in fact, if you notice right now, we're unlocked in fourth. If my camera is picking up my gauge, hopefully it is. We're unlocked in fourth. But under normal acceleration, it's going to unlock fourth. It's going to shift to fifth. Fifth is going to be unlocked, and then when it's ready, it'll lock fifth. And there's a little lag. There's a little slippage. Not slippage because it's going to a fluid coupling. So if you want to call that slippage, then that's slippage. But there's no plates or clutch plates or anything like that slipping. A lot of people take a truck and delete it, and then and have their transmission tuned so that it does pretty much it eliminates the flare. But what happens is you're pretty much doing a metal to metal gear change without that little fluid cushion between your gears, and that's not a good thing. You do want to have that little fluid cushion. Chrysler put that in there for a purpose, for a reason, and it's protecting that transmission. Been programmed in since 2013. Prior to that, you had a lot more transmission problems, a lot more transmission failures. So they've done a good thing. That 68 RFE transmission, I haven't heard of many problems at all. And if you tow the way I'm recommending, by keeping that transmission from hunting back and forth and keep it from downshifting under a heavy load, then you're going to have even more success with it, I think. And this isn't my first one. This truck right here only has less than 32,000 miles on it. It's practically brand new. It's a 2014. It's got about 50% towing and 50% grocery getting. Got all the bugs worked out of it. It's a good truck. I love it. I'm going to try to keep it for the next 10 years, if possible. It'll probably outlive me. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed that little diatribe that I just gave you on what I think about all this stuff. And until next time, adios.